Guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in white. We are learning to calculate the area, carrying on from yesterday's work, and circles. And that's the new shape we're going to be focusing on. So there's not too much we need to know about. Area still relates to how many squares will fit in. But one bit of information that'll be new and specific for circles is that the area is equal to pi r squared. And just a reminder that r stands for the radius of the circle, which goes from the center all the way to the edge. So there's the radius. The best way to go through this is just a couple quick questions. So this will be a short video, hopefully. Let's change to yellow. So question number 1, we've got the center of the circle here, edge of the circle there. Let's say that there is 10 meters. What would the area be? So you start off with by writing down your equation. So area is equal to pi r squared. We know that r is equal to 10. It's going to be pi times 10 squared. And this is when you're going to need your calculator. So pi times 10 squared, that comes to 314.16. 314.16 meters squared. And don't forget to set your rounding to decimal points. So there's the first example we want to look at. We'll look at another one right at the top by Machamp. So there's our circle. If you're given the diameter instead of the radius, so let's say that diameter is 30 centimeters. We know 1/2 of that is going to be the radius, which will give us a radius of 15 centimeters. We then substitute that in. So we're going to go through our same steps. The area will be equal to pi r squared. We can then substitute pi times 15 squared. And again, you'll need your calculator for this bit. Pi times 15 squared. I'm getting 706.86 centimeters squared. And again, 2dp rounding. Something else to note, question 3, if you're dealing with a part of a circle, so for example, let's say I've got this one here, and that there's a 90-degree angle, and this here is maybe 7.5 meters. We can do the same thing as we did for the perimeter type stuff, except this time around we don't need to worry about the two radius, or radii, popping down. So our formula area is going to be equal to 3/4, and that's because we've got 3/4 of a circle times pi r squared, and that's going to be equal to 3/4 times pi times 7.5 squared. And again, you're dealing with pi, you're going to need to know your calculator. So 0.75 times pi times 7.5 squared, I'm getting 132.54. 132.54 meters squared. 2 decimal points. Okay, and our final question, we'll actually change pen colors for this question just because it is a bit of an algebra one working backwards. So question number 4, this is our circle. We know it has an area of 150 centimeters squared. What is the diameter of the circle? And like the other questions, so we're working backwards, so we're probably going to call that x. But like the other questions, we're always going to start by writing down the equation. So area is going to be equal to pi r squared. We now substitute what we know. So we're going to take out the area, and we're going to put in 150. And we're going to take out the r and put in, in this case, we're actually going to put in 1/2 of x squared. Just noting, this is the diameter. So that means the radius would be equal to 1/2 of that. Hence why we've substituted in 1/2 of x over there. We're now going to go ahead and solve. The algebra is a bit messier because of the squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with by going divide by pi. So 150 divided by pi. I would leave that as an expression of pi or with a fraction, and I'll simplify it later on. That's going to be equal to 1/4 of x squared. So 1/4 of x squared is the same as divide by 4. So I'm going to go times 4 times 4. So it's going to be 4 times 150 divided by pi equals x squared. We've got a bit left to do. We now just got to get rid of that squared. So x squared is equal to 600 divided by pi. That's me simplifying the top part of our fraction. And then we're going to go x is equal to the square root of 600 divided by pi. And from there, you're going to grab out your calculator, see what your answer is. So square root 600 divided by pi. And I'm getting 13.82. In our case, units, centimeters squared, means the length are centimeters. And that was a 2dp rounding. So that last question, a little bit tricky with the algebra involved to solve it. But it's something that I do think with practice we will be able to get through pretty well. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into heaps and heaps of practice.